I could probably guess that everyone listening to this show is either in love with America or has been at one time. But if someone were to ask you out on the street just, why you love America, what would you say? Would you give them an emotional story of your infatuation with our country? Would you prove statistically how America is superior among the nations? Or would you just say it's my patriotic duty to do so and therefore I do love America? Now, all are decent answers. But wouldn't it be so much better, so more enthralling to have exact reasons as to why we all love America? I can go on for hours, literally, about America's religious foundings, her constitution, her beautiful mountains, her shores, and her capitalistic economy, but I do want to touch on just a few topics real quick. It is an absolute miracle, first off, that our founding ever came to be. Never in the history of the world has the universe seen a collaboration of virtuous, godly men decide to take such action as to free themselves from the bondage of an oppressive government. And when the dust settled and the smoke cleared, agree that their new nation and their new form of government would be banned from having tyrannical rule over their people. So much trust was put upon our first president, George Washington. The people could have crowned him king, but our country was blessed to have a leader righteous enough to realize that a monarchy would not suit the people, even if he were given all the power. Our country saw time and time again where God's hand played a role where a ragtag nation full of rebels who were merely farmhands, they were blacksmiths, shopkeepers, they would defeat a formidable and deadly military force of the king's army. God really smiled upon our nation. He had true leaders and men of God take responsibility and leadership for the freedom of man. Washington has stated in his farewell address the importance of Christian principles being engraved into the fabric of society, and I quote, "Of all the dispositions and habits which lead to political prosperity," so that means everything that we do that leads to the success of our nation, "religion and morality are indispensable supports. And let us with caution indulge the supposition," and he's saying, and let us be careful when we start to think about the idea that morality can be maintained without religion. Reason and experience both forbid us to expect that national morality can prevail to the exclusion of religious principle. A man named Alex de Tocqueville was a Frenchman who visited the States in 1831, and the bustle about what was happening in America drew Alex there. The French wanted to find out what was going on. This nation that was just a few decades old was growing exponentially faster than any of the other world powers. He said in his book, Democracy in America, he says, "On my arrival in the United States, the religious aspect of the country was the first thing that struck my attention, and the longer I stayed there, the more I perceived the great political consequences resulting from this new state of things." Alex was amazed at the virtue of such a diverse group of people, and this is a group of people that actually managed to govern themselves. Now, you may hear us in the Dimsdale debate in our podcast talking about the law of liberty. And Benjamin Franklin, this is exactly what it is. He told us in one of his writings, he said, "Only a virtuous people are capable of freedom. As nations become corrupt and vicious, they have more need of masters." And what a self-fulfilling prophecy that is, that we have the kind of Congress that we have the kind of encroaching powers, we have Obama as a president. It's because we've become more need of masters. We've become more corrupt and vicious. But back then, our nation was virtuous. Alex did go on to explain, and this is a quote that just gives me cold chills. He says, "I sought for the greatness and genius of America, and her commodious harbors and her ample rivers, and it was not there. And her fertile fields and boundless prairies, and it was not there. And her rich mines and her vast world commerce, and it was not there. Not until I went to the churches of America and heard her pulpits aflame with righteousness did I understand the secret of her genius and power. America is great because she is good, and if America ever ceases to be good, she will cease to be great." That's something totally different from what we hear from society, what we hear from professors, our even high school teachers in public schools. But this is why I love America. The idea of the American experiment resulted in the most vast expansion of technology the world has ever seen. And thanks to a free market society where ideas and entrepreneurship was encouraged, America brought to light a massive advancement in communication, which has done us so well. The invention of the telegraph brought life to the telephone. The telephone brought life to the TV, the television, where now not only could people communicate, but a family could see someone hundreds of miles away right from their living room. And the next morning when that family got up, now that they needed to travel, all they had to do was they didn't have to saddle up horses anymore. They just had to crank up turn the crank on Henry Ford's new automobile and drive off. And it's something that all Americans could afford. When they had to travel, they could now hop on a jet engine airplane and make a trip across the nation within a matter of hours. And when that family needs electricity, a locomotive is now taking coal and oil and gas all across the nation and delivering that electricity where it's needed. And as if it wasn't enough, not only did America see someone go across the nation or go around the world, but effectively on another planet. All this was made possible by a few good men who knew what it was to fight for natural law, individual responsibility, and a virtuous action. So no, I don't love America because I just think this is my home country, this is where I'm from, and it's my patriotic duty to do so. I love America because I can honestly say that this is the greatest nation on God's green earth for now and centuries to come. My name is Tommy Dimsdale, and welcome to the Dimsdale Debate.